Hey y'all, this is my review for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I believe this is episode 13, and the ladies are bringing it. Like, the second half of this season is everything. But let's get into this episode. So literally, we open this episode with a montage of the entire cast telling someone about what happened at Vail. So first we open with Lisa telling her pale husband. Then we have Heather telling her 17-year-old daughter. Then Mary telling her grandfather, which, by the way, she said that, what she was being accused of. And, first Jen, she was like, is this a brown girl thing? Really? Yeah. Y'all notice how Mary and Jen are like really quick to put this on race? And it's really disgusting because they're both awful people. And for them to like put this on, people are accusing them of this stuff because they're black or of color. You know what you're doing. You have a cult. You're taking advantage of people clearly. And then Jen, we have a whole episode to get into this because she returns in this episode. Then you have Whitney telling her husband, and then we see Jenny driving as she's talking to her husband on the phone. I'm wondering, do they even care about all this? Do their family members care? Because I wouldn't. But after all that, we get back to Lisa, and we see she gets a text from Jen, her new number, saying that like Jen tried to call her, but she didn't answer. So she's letting her know that this is Jen, this is my new number. Also, Jen wants to meet up with Lisa if she gets a chance. And Lisa right now, you look like she might need to talk to her lawyers first before she even hangs around Jen. Her husband says you should get coffee with her. She immediately says, no, I need to think on this. Lisa is worried about her. So Heather gets a phone call, and it happens to be Jen, and Jen wants to meet up with her. She asks her how her kids are doing, and Jen is like, I'm doing okay, but I just want to meet up with you, today. Like, same day. Heather's like, yes, no problem, yeah. Like, Heather is a ride or die. But first and foremost, I wouldn't have answered a call that wasn't recognized. Like, if I didn't label it myself, then they're going to have to leave a message or a voicemail. If it was important, they will leave a voicemail. I'm not answering numbers I don't recognize. And I feel like if the roles were reversed, Jen would not be there for Heather. Like, I really feel this relationship is one-sided, but of course Jen feels like she needs an ally right now. That's why she probably called Lisa and Heather first. But we get back to Lisa, and Lisa says that she has mixed emotions. Like, I don't know who Jen is anymore, and I'm sure she doesn't want to be associated with someone in a high-profile case of swindling old people. And Lisa says she hasn't heard from Jen ever since she went off on her during her kids' photo shoot. Lisa says she isn't sure if she's the best person for Jen to talk to right now. And that's why Heather is here to jump at the chance to be there for Jen, no matter what she did. Like, I really think if Jen was charged with murder, Heather would be there for her. Wow, they really just cut right to the chase. Next scene, we're with Jen as she's meeting Heather. Jen, this fur coat is bad. I like it. This red fur coat, not bad. So Jen and Heather are face to face, and Jen says she changed her phone, I'm guessing for obvious reasons, and that's why it took so long for her to reach out to her. Lord, here we go with I need to see who my real friends are when I'm in a bind. Filing bankruptcy, yes, okay. During a divorce, yes, but during federal crimes, like, what do you expect? Heather was the only one. Yeah, because Heather has codependency issues. That waitress at the table, like, she cannot stop smiling. Like, she knows that she is on Salt Lake City right now, and Jen Felonshaw is right in front of her. I'll be cheesed up too. Jen tells Heather that she needs a friend right now. And Heather is saying in her confessional how not that many people were there for her when she got divorced. But again, Heather, you're comparing your divorce to like federal charges, like serious charges of defrauding old people across the country. So already the lies have started. So Jen is telling her side of what happened that day she got arrested. She's saying she got a phone call from Sharif's phone thinking it was him, but it was somebody saying something was wrong with her husband. So then when she left, she got pulled over by a white van in a black SUV, and she thought she was being kidnapped. So she says the people in the van said they were here to arrest her. They're from New York, and they brought her to a location where she was in a break room. They were asking her questions, and they had her left arm handcuffed to the table. Like, so you don't have no idea what you did. Nothing. Clueless. And I'm also confused as to why she didn't think she needed an attorney in order to talk to people who arrested her. And her reasoning is, why would I need an attorney? I didn't do anything wrong. That's why you should have one. What? So now she's saying that she didn't know that the police came to their house and they came with AR-15s, which I think was a little overboard. And then she said that they pointed them at her son. And that really is unfortunate. I wish they didn't show that because it's very triggering. And then we see the footage by Jen's house of, her nephew and her son coming out with their hands raised. I'm not sure if they were put in the cuffs. I didn't see that part. But yeah, I can see, Jen, you did this. You should feel worse that you put your kids and your husband in this position. Yeah, if they would have did one wrong move or something or tried to run, I'm pretty sure it probably would have went left. And it's very, very unfortunate. But again, Miss Shaw, you are not the victim in this case. I'm sorry. So Jen continues on with her story, and she really had the nerve to say it's crazy how the government can just do whatever they want without any type of proof. What? They've been researching her for years. I don't think they would go through all that if they got the wrong person. So then Heather asked her about Stu, her right-hand man, her first assistant. And I am wondering, did they come to his house with AR-15s and, point them at his wife and kids? Wait a minute. So now she is throwing Stuart under the bus. And, Heather's asking, what are you two? Is he your business partner? And then she's like, well, no, we're not partners really in anything. And then production, we rewind just 3 weeks ago where she's feeding him a banana as he's doing work. So I'm not sure what type of relationship, they had if they're not business partners. Their whole relationship was strange, honestly. This is damning right now. She clearly just lied. Because in the clip she's saying, oh yeah, I feed you while you work and make me my money. That's it. And she says in her confessional that Stuart had his own businesses and that had nothing to do with me. Ooh, and Stuart just pled guilty. He's going to sing like a canary, especially after watching this, how she just sold him out like that. Heather, she's obviously trying to distance herself from him. Clearly. So Jen is asking Heather how the other ladies reacted, and Heather is totally throwing Lisa under the bus right now, saying that she wanted to distance herself from Jen. She doesn't want to be implicated. Damn, she didn't say nothing about what Whitney said. So then Heather says, Meredith too, she doesn't want anything to do with you. So after Heather just threw Lisa and Meredith under the bus, Jen said that, oh, it's fine, but I definitely want a big fat ass apology when I'm proven innocent. Okay, girl, when you're proven innocent. Okay, we shall see. So next scene we're with Whitney at her residence, and it's her and her husband and her kid. A lot of people were talking about the dry-ass Chipotle. I don't go to Chipotle. I'm not really a fan of Mexican cuisine, unless it's quesadillas or chips and queso. So I wouldn't even know how to point that out. But apparently that's not what Chipotle usually looks like. But they're talking about Whitney's business, and it looks like her husband is kind of seen it as a hobby, whereas Whitney is taking this very seriously and pumping loads of her own money into it. She does say in her confessional that they put in hundreds of thousands of dollars in this business, and it's all riding on a successful launch. So then he asks her, how much are you going to invest? And then she says, well, I took out $1 million line of credit. So if I get approved, then nothing. Then she says if she's not approved, then she's going to have to come up with a minimum of $250K. The way the camera just zoomed in on her daughter. Tell your daughter to go upstairs and not be worried about grown folks' business. And then Whitney tells her husband in extra detail saying, well, you're going to have to co-sign. You can see all the color rush from his face. So finally, Whitney excuses her daughter to go upstairs. Once her husband says, do you see why you think you should have told me this? Yeah, it looks like they don't have as much money as we think they do. This kind of reminds me of Potomac, of Robin and Juan discussing their finances, and because you know it's Robin's fault that they lost all the money, so I hope Whitney is smart about this. So next scene, we're with Mary, and we're at her house, and we see that she called over an organizer because she needs help. And then we see that her master bedroom is basically her closet. It looks really disheveled, and also I think her and her husband definitely have separate rooms. They don't sleep in the same bedroom. And then not only is her master bedroom like filled to the brim with clothes and shoes, etc., she has another closet that's completely packed to the brim with her clothes. And then the look on this organizer's face is hilarious. She's asking, have you ever thought about getting rid of some of these clothes? Because at this point you have clothes hidden behind other clothes. Like, Mary is a hoarder. Like, I'm not sure if she's just like a hoarder of luxury brands. And I agree with something I read on Twitter. Like, someone suggested that Mary gets a spinoff of her actually like sorting out her master bedroom. Her room is absolute chaos, and the organizer has her work cut out for her. Like, this is a job for multiple people. And then she asks you, did you want to get rid of anything? And I don't think Mary wants to get rid of any clothing. Mary's excuse for having so many articles of clothing is because she has memories attached to them. She says since she doesn't have that attachment to people, she has that attachment to clothes, which I definitely think she should seek a therapist for. So next scene, we're with Lisa and Meredith meeting up to ride horses together. I'm going to fast forward to most of it until they start talking. So after their horse riding, Lisa and Meredith sit down to talk. Lisa lets Meredith know that Jen has contacted her and she doesn't know whether or not she wants to meet up with her for coffee, and she says she needs time. She's saying that her relationship with Jen changed the day that she went off on her, and she said she finally saw the Jen that, you know, the other women saw. And then in Meredith's mind, she's thinking, well, you saw how Jen treated me, yet you continue to be friends with her. So now that you see the real Jen, you want to come and complain to me about it? So I totally see Meredith's perspective on this. She's also telling Meredith how she's mad at Whitney and Heather for jumping on her about the whole Mary situation. Lisa again says she had nothing to do with Cameron spreading information about Mary. I mean, of course she believes her friend, so they're not lies. And then you did bring him on camera to talk to Meredith, so I mean, it looks like she's trying to be Lisa Vanderpump and try to manipulate behind the scenes, but she's not that good at it. So, you know, because I didn't realize Melissa was a manipulator until she left the show. Like, clearly I can see what Lisa is doing. Don't accuse me of things I didn't do, or else I'll accuse you of things you do if you do that. Oh my God, like, I love Lisa for this show. I can't stand her, but I love her for this show. That reunion is going to be wild. So Meredith finally tells Lisa her opinion on the whole veil situation and everything that happened. She says what annoyed her the most was the person that was being accused of everything didn't really get a chance to talk. And here we go with Meredith again, caping for Mary. It's just such a weird relationship. Lisa is blaming it all on Whitney and Heather. Bad weather. Then Meredith says she doesn't think it's just Whitney and Heather. It's the dynamic of the group is what happened. Then Lisa's like, well, I didn't have anything to do with it. Lisa wants no accountability, even though she's the one that started all this. It was your friend that said this. And Lisa, come on, do you really think any of the people that you know would be on camera if you didn't want them to be on camera? Like, clearly, Cameron was brought on to spill the tea about Mary. Meredith thinks that everybody was responsible for that situation blowing up concerning Mary. And Lisa's like, that had nothing to do with me, and I'm actually kind of offended that no one has my fucking back on this. Uh-oh, and it looks like Meredith is a little tired of Lisa going off right now. She's like, I don't know why you're upset. I'm saying everybody's involved, including me. And Lisa refuses to take any sort of accountability. And Meredith's very quick to remind her, I've definitely had your back, and I'm getting very offended by it. Don't go there. Look, Lisa, Meredith already gave you the warning. You see her eyes, and you've seen how she's went off before. So I don't think you want to get into it with your only ally left. Again, with Lisa giving us another soundbite, saying that Whitney and Heather, they think about her so much, they don't count sheep, they count Lisa Barlow's. They count Lisa Barlow's before they go to sleep. How did Meredith keep a straight face when she said that? I wouldn't have been able to. Then they just end the scene right there. Okay, so next scene, we're with Jenny and her daughter, and they're going to this Vietnamese restaurant where she's going to be holding a dinner for all the ladies. She's going to be testing the food out. Now, I'm going to fast forward through this because the only thing that was interesting about this was her daughter. And unfortunately, her daughter isn't in Housewives, so we're going to have to fast forward. And don't get it twisted, I like Jenny, just not for the show. Like, the most interesting thing about her is her daughter. She doesn't bring anything to the drama. And also, I don't think she's developing any relationships with the other ladies. So next scene, we are with Jen and Coach Shaw. Child, she set out a whole Popeyes spread for him. She's making sure her man stays by her side. That Popeyes chicken do look good, though. I'm hungry. So she's basically telling her husband, as the cameramen zoom in on the Popeyes fried chicken, that she's really upset at some of the ladies who didn't get back to her, particularly Lisa. So it looked like she's very upset that Lisa didn't answer her phone calls. And in her confessional, she's saying, you know, what happened to ride or die? Look at the charges that you have, girl. Are you not surprised? And I don't think no one's surprised that Heather picked up the phone for you. And I like Heather, but Heather got issues. This entire episode, she's been trying to paint herself as a victim. And I'm really glad that Hulu came out with that Shaw special to give faces to the victims, because it's crazy. Like, I think it's the narcissism for me. So now it looks like she's about to break down in front of her husband saying, I did not do any of this that I'm being accused of. Nothing. Her husband tells her that he believes her with a very serious face. I believe him. I believe that he believes her. He has to. But I'm sure once the judge slams that gavel and says guilty, he's divorcing her immediately. Oof. And then Jen says the retainer, I'm guessing for her lawyer, is $1.5 million. And she's like, that's a lot for our family. And I'm thinking she's implying that she's expecting his family to help out, to chip in. Because there's no other reason why she would bring up to Coach Shaw that she's helped his family for years. She's having a full-on breakdown right now. Not saying, oh my, graduate? Where the fuck is everybody? I mean, you did what you did. Maybe in some multiverse she's innocent. Maybe. But it's giving me Jussie Smollett vibes. Like, she will not admit anything. They're editing the hell out of this scene, but now her husband is getting very serious with her, saying, just because you haven't heard from them, his side of the family, they believe you. Yeah, something she said must have ticked him off that they didn't show, because he's like, yeah, my mother, my father, my brother, they love you. Coach Shaw says his faith will not falter and he will not leave her. Ooh, you know production's gonna save this scene when they file for divorce. Because you know it's going to happen. Like, if she is guilty and is sent to prison, he is leaving her. She really fixed her mouth to say she don't understand why this is happening. Wow. Wow. Talk about no accountability. Maybe that's why her and Lisa were such good friends at first. Neither like to take accountability. So next scene, we're with Whitney, and she's doing a photo shoot for her new brand relaunch. And she invited Heather as well as Jenny. Now I'm looking around, and me and Jenny share the same sentiments. Like, where is the product? Like, we see the photo shoot, but where is it? And what is Whitney Beauty exactly? Like, no product around whatsoever. We have messy production listing things that not the product. Not the product. We found that Whitney also spent $20K on this photo shoot, and I'm wondering, where did the money go? Like, they really could have just got an iPhone and called it a day. So as they're talking, Jenny invites them to her event she's going to be having to introduce them to her culture. And also Jenny says she's inviting Jen to this event. And speaking of Jen, Heather brings up that she met up with her and she's letting them know what happened. She tells them that Jen is doing okay, although she is pretty sad, and that she said that she's innocent and she's confident she can fight these charges in court. And then the look on Whitney's face is like, girl, really? Okay. Jenny then asks Heather, do you believe her? And then Heather's like, well, I hope and pray that she's innocent. That was not the question. It's a yes or no answer. I just really think Heather is really taking 5 steps back and aligning herself with Jen after all that's happened. So then Whitney says that she is just really unsure about her relationships with some of the women, particularly Lisa and Mary. She says she is tired of fighting with Lisa. Believe me, we are too. But Lisa, I mean, she keeps trying to manipulate people and start shit and then hold no accountability whatsoever. And Mary's just a space cadet. She says what Lisa did with Cameron was very intentional. Like, she put out these breadcrumbs for them to pick it up and run with it. What? So Whitney drops a bomb and says, well, you know what? I contacted Cameron my damn self. I got his number from somebody and we talked for 3 hours. Wow. Like, didn't I say in the last video she's a fucking detective? She puts Sutton to shame. Like, she's getting to the bottom of this. 3 hours though? What could they be talking about? I could see 1 hour, but 3? 3 hours. That's 3 episodes of Salt Lake City. That's a long ass fucking time. She said just from talking to Cameron, Lisa's definitely withholding information. Because if even 1/10 of what Cameron said is true, then Mary is bigger and badder than what we ever thought. Just Whitney telling all the ladies this information she has on Cameron in this voice, it's taking me out. It really is. So Heather then asked Whitney, are you going to tell us what Cameron told you? Or are you going to go to Mary? Whitney said she's going to go to Lisa directly and tell her what Cameron told her. So there is no misunderstanding. Whitney is really talking about this situation like it's Infinity War. Like, she's like, I need all of you, including Lisa and Jen, to take on Mary. Like, what is going on? Whitney, I understand your frustration with Mary, but I don't think you need, like, everyone's powers combined to take on Mary. I really don't think so. Like, you're a big girl, you can do it yourself, call her out on her lies and just stand firm. Jenny then asked her, like, why are you afraid of her? And then Whitney says, she tears me apart. She tears me down. I need help with this. Mary is not used to people standing up to her. She's used to her congregation following her and obeying her. I get it. Like, Mary has put her through a lot. But Mary is, like, who is Mary? Who is she? Like, she not gonna fight you or nothing like that. You think she's gonna call on the powers of God to fight you with? She did say she was gonna bring Jesus after you if you come for her, but hey, James was like, we're not in her congregation, and Whitney's like, well, y'all are acting like it. She says if she's gonna end the friendship, she needs the facts. So we end the episode on that. Like, Whitney is planning a takedown of Mary Cosby right now. Like, the way she's talking about it right now is just so dramatic. Whew, wow. This reunion is gonna be everything. Everything. There's just so many feuds going on between the ladies, and this is their 2nd season. But yeah, this episode was okay. Definitely interesting to see that Jen Shah still thinks that, you know, she is the victim. Heather being so willingly to follow Jen. Lisa and Meredith, like, their relationship is now crumbling right now. The next episode looks amazing. And then seeing Heather joking from the sidelines as Lisa and Meredith are going at it. I can't wait. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this episode. And also, I'm curious to hear y'all thoughts on how Mary and Jen are both using race to, like, defend their behavior and actions and why they're in the predicament they're in. Because it's just so fascinating right now. Especially hearing Mary Cosby's apology, how she wrote that in a dinner menu font. Haven't forgot about that either. Anywho, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.